email and a text regarding filling out a survey about our facility, about us coaches, and being as honest as possible so that we can level up and be better as a team. So make sure that you guys are checking that out. And at the end of the survey, there is a secret phrase that you guys can write down once you are done with it and completed it, and then you can come turn it in up at the front and get entered into a raffle. So make sure you guys are doing that. We definitely want to hear all that you have to say, the good, the bad, things we can improve on. So yes. Also, very exciting, we have a wait list in effect. So if you guys have any family, friends, anybody who wants to start working out here, make sure that they get on that wait list. It is a $29 fee to reserve a spot, and then we're going to start opening back up to people, new members in July. And I think that's about it, besides the fact that we do this every Wednesday, so make sure you're tuning in for Coffee with the Coaches at 11:30.
Or a little bit later.
Or a little bit later. It's 11:37, 7 minutes late, but we're good. We're here. All right, guys. Are we ready to talk about this?
So long. What?
Yeah? What? Excuse me?
In the video, my neck looked like super long. That's
Oh, your neck.
That's not what
I thought you said I was talking too long.
No. So, we're talking about calories today and nutrition. Trying to.
Yes. Back on track.
So the entire basis of today's conversation is all about nutrition. It's all about where we should be at, where we can be at, what is the goal, what are we aiming for on here. Because, I mean, it should not be a secret by now. I hope we've made it very clear on every end that like the workouts are great, you pushing yourself are great, like all of those healthy habits are fantastic. But if your nutrition is not there, you're not going to hit your goal. Like,
Yep.
Pretty much cut and dry. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be the most picture perfect person and only eat like these, 5 foods and to hit that goal. Right? Finding that balance and finding what works for you is going to be the biggest thing here. And now, there's literally so much that we could talk about when it comes to this, but I think just going off like calories really quick is going to be the biggest benefactor, the thing that's going to help you out the most, and just give you a better understanding of them. Because for those of you that are on the challenge, like, you get a calorie allotment. Now, for those of you on the challenge, if you do not know, eat your calories, eat to that number. You are in a calorie deficit already. Yes. What that means is you have a state, this is where you are. If you eat this many calories, if you eat this many calories, you're going to stay, maintained for the most part. But if you eat at the amount that we have you at, it is already lower than this predisposed number. So if you eat those calories, you will lose body fat. You will, the goal is to make progress with that number. So you do not need to eat under that. That is just something I need to put out there to make sure that it is clear. Now, with that being said, a calorie deficit, that's a big kind of word that I used. But whenever you're doing something with calories, like there's a billion fad diets out there. I think in the workshop presentation we did a couple months back, one of the things is it says like the average person who like jumps on fad diets will end up doing like 143 in their lifetime. If you do 143 in your lifetime and none of them works, it has nothing to do with the fad diet. It has to do with how nutrition is built out. And that's not your fault. It's marketing to everybody to do these things. But the very basics of it is if you're eating less calories than you are burning in a day, you will lose weight. You will, that's how that works. Like calories is just a source of energy at its very basic form or term. But like that's like a calorie deficit is where you lose weight. That also means the intricacies of it, like you do not live in a calorie deficit. That is terrible for you. Nobody does. Like nobody just eats underneath that every single day for the rest of their life. Like there are things that are not great about that. But like I said, I could just ramble off on calories all the time. But I know Sean, you're very passionate about food in general.
Yes, eat your food. Very simply put, just like Coach Valencia said, we already have you guys set in a deficit, which means that if you're eating under your nutritional goal, that means you're in a pretty large deficit. And if you're feeling tired during your workouts, if you feel like you're stagnated with your progress, if you feel hungry all the time or you're feeling frustrated, understand that it's because we need you to eat more of those calories so that your body has all the nutrients and energy that it needs to perform. Because we're not just asking you to perform in here, right, during this challenge or even off the challenge in the studio. The workouts are still demanding, but you have to go out 23 hours and 30 minutes left in your day, whether you're sleeping 8 to 10 of them, hopefully more than 7. Whatever you're doing for the rest of that time, you're still demanding energy and things from your body. So we're not just having you eat just for 30 minutes, we're asking for a lifestyle change, because ultimately that's what's going to lead to sustainable and maintainable results. And that's the most important thing. So whether we're eating vegan, vegetarian, whether we have a high protein diet, whether we're just eating paleo, whether we're trying keto, whatever we're doing, I'm not here to tell you what is like the perfect way to eat and what's not the perfect way to eat. I'm more interested in developing a consistent day in and day out, hitting a calorie goal, developing the habit of being aware of what your body needs, fulfilling that need, and then being able to perform, the workouts, perform at your job, take care of your family, because I'm pretty sure those other 2 things are a lot harder than that 30 minutes in here. So that's my first sense about it.
I think one thing to kind of understand is, I know like calorie goal in here is like a great thing to look at. Like, I want to burn 300 calories. But in the grand scheme of things, like the calories you burn in a workout are not the most significant portion of the calories you naturally burn in a day. Like your body existing and like trying to function and to keep you alive is burning 70%. It's 70% of your calories that you burn in a day. If you eat a high protein diet, like how we plan to, you hit your protein goals, like you're probably burning 10% of your calories in your day because you are eating those foods through the thermogenic factor. I have a video on that somewhere that exists. But it's like you burn calories from eating food. The higher protein food, the more that your body has to try to break it down. So you burn calories doing that. Like, there's a lot of things that go into this, and nutrition plays an extremely big part in it. I know you're in a little bit of a calorie deficit of yourself, Ariana, so how's that?
Yeah, it's been an adjustment, and I've been actually talking to Coach Sean a lot about it and realizing that you do have to take into account everything that you do throughout your day. I mean, I have a very active job on top of wanting to work out 5 times a week, and he was explaining to me, and I feel like I'm feeling the same kind of thing that you guys are. We feel like we should eat less in order to lose fat, but that's not always the case. I'm eating around 1,700 calories right now, and he told me, he's like, you're crazy. That is not enough for what you are setting out to do. And I'm realizing that I tell you guys that same thing, so I should be doing that same thing, to where I'm fueling my body to be able to sustain myself and my energy to keep on going throughout the day. So it's super important that you take into account how active you are being, and you also stay on top of it, because I also told myself that I can't eat a bunch of calories and not do my workouts, because at the end of the day I'm eating those calories so that I perform better in my workouts as well. So you really have to have that balance, because you can't eat super bad and expect your workouts to make up for that bad eating, because I know sometimes people are under that impression that you can work off a bad diet, which you definitely cannot. It's been a little challenging for me, because I am so active that I've never been hungrier in my life. I want to eat all the time, and I think that I should eat when I'm hungry. I should be listening to my body, because it needs energy. It wants energy. It's what it's asking for. I just have to make sure that I'm making the smarter choice, and making sure that I'm having more protein than I'm having fat and carbs, that I'm eating more vegetables and having my free veggies. Because a lot of the time, you guys will come to us and tell us how hungry you are, and I've had some people that log their free veggies, and I tell them no, don't log those. Those are good for you. You can have as much as you want. Fill up on them. Don't count them, because that's something that you can do to fill yourself up more. Drinking your water is going to even fill you up. And we always ask you guys, I know people freak out in the beginning about oh my gosh, how much fat, how much carbs, how much protein should I be having? But first and foremost, people don't really even know how to hit that calorie number. So that's what we like to focus on first, because people can tend to be afraid to eat. And that can almost hurt you more in the long run if you're not eating what you're supposed to. You'll stay the same, you'll gain weight. Eating less doesn't always mean losing weight. It can mean losing muscle, which sucks, because we work so hard in here, and you basically end up getting nowhere, because you don't really know how to eat. I mean, I've been there. I'm still learning a lot from everybody, but that's been the main thing that I've noticed, even helping out my clients and learning about myself and the way that I need to consume calories.
And I think something that I also want to address very specifically is, for the most part, when you tell somebody like to eat healthy, there's not like a whole lot of like actual like, oh, what does it mean to eat healthy? Like if you look at, you know, a slice of pizza versus I don't know, like a grilled chicken breast, because that's always like the thing that I go to because it's very simple to look at. It's like, which one is going to be more like nutritionally dense? Which one are you gonna like feel better after it? Like you're just like, oh, like 9 out of 10 times most people are gonna pick the chicken breast. If you're just like, oh, like what should you have right now as a snack that like you're gonna feel better about? It's like, oh, like, you know, if you show someone like cookies versus like a handful of almonds, like people will be like, oh, like the almonds are gonna make me feel better overall. So to an extent, unless you're on like a very specific diet path, which Sean's gonna get to like right now, knowledge is not necessarily the issue.
Right.
It's not like if I tell you, if I go down a list of things that you've eaten in a week, like more than likely you could point out every single thing where you're like, oh, I had a better opportunity. I can look at everything. I had a cupcake the other day. I can get mad at myself and be like, oh, like I shouldn't have had that cupcake, but it's like, for that reason, like it made me sane because I know that 80% of the rest of my meals are perfectly fine. There's a good thing that I saw from another health coach, which it was like 2 lines, and like one is like, you eat all week like this, and it's like salads, like chicken, like all like healthy stuff, and it's like, and then on the weekends you eat this, and it's like, you know, cake, pizza, french fry, whatever. And it's like, why don't you just make your weeks look like this? And it was like the healthy things with some snacks in between, like, you know, a cookie here, a cookie there. Like it's not all or nothing, and then you fall off on the weekend. Like, have that sanity along with it. Like it's not, the goal for nutrition is not to stress you out. It's not to be like, oh, let's just add this on and throw in like a ton of stuff that now you have to think about and be like. And I get it, like counting calories it takes more time, it takes a lot more effort. But at the same time, if it's something that like super stresses you out, like calories are not just like, I don't like tracking calories. I like, Sean's very good at it. Sean's good at tracking everything. I don't do it very well. But I have a different system. I can look at my plate and be like, okay, the way that it's portioned out, it looks good. I'm not overeating. I feel good at the end of it. Like I can finish a meal and like go on a run. Okay, I'm comfortable with it. And it's more of like understanding and like having that trust in yourself that you know you have the ability to make the choices. You have the ability to know what's good and what's not. And like even saying like what's good or what's not is like edging that line right there. Because food is not bad for you. Like if you have pizza, like you shouldn't feel guilty. You shouldn't like feel any type of way because of it. It's like, oh, if you had pizza, like good for you. I'm happy for you. Like that's great. I love pizza. It's just no, like when you look at the things you're eating, is it the majority of it gonna be that stuff that you look at and you're like, oh, I have an opportunity on? Or is the majority of it, oh, like I can look at what I'm eating and know that I'm happy with it. Because that's the biggest thing. Like that's why like tracking your food is so much more helpful than just being like, oh, I hit my calorie mark, which is super important because if you're not eating enough calories, your body's not gonna want to lose as much fat because then it's like it's just holding on to everything because you're under eating. But it's like just looking back and be like, okay, like what decisions did I make? Were they decisions that I agree with at the end of the week, or the decisions where I'm like, oh, I have some opportunities to make up? And then the next week you make a small adjustment. It doesn't have to be the entire week starts fresh and the entire week is mulled over. It could be like, okay, let's just change one meal, one snack, and then you keep on going because it's over time. Nobody learns everything at once. Like none of us got into our fitness journey and just immediately we're like, we got it, we know everything, like we're set, we're all learning at the same time. We're all going through our own little struggles. Even with nutrition, like trying to find things, trying to find out what works with us. So it's like knowing that you have, like trust yourself, guys. You have this, you got this. Don't start to like ramble off in your head because that's where it gets very difficult. But the times where it does get a little bit more specific is if you're on specific diets or programs or whatever it is that requires you to have to like put a little bit more effort into it to have to. Like for those of you that are like vegan or vegetarian, like finding that protein source is a little bit more difficult. It takes a little bit more time, a little bit more practice to get into it, but it's just like anything else. Like once you get it down, you know where it is. It's like building that foundational base of knowledge, and then everything else is just like more details if you want to know. So Sean, if you want to take it away with the vegan stuff, because I know you know more than I do.
Same.
Okay, so when we're looking at vegan and vegetarian diets, it's going to be a little bit harder to get in that protein. Not impossible, more difficult because you can't just stack up a chicken, steak, and salmon and be like, okay, I'm good on my protein, right? So you kind of have to get a little bit more creative. So there are substitutes available for you. I've had plant-based sausage before. It's not wrapped in intestine, so you don't have to worry about that. It's wrapped in like some dissolvable clear thing. It's plant-based though. I don't remember exactly what it is, but what I mean by that is that there are protein options out there. Also, if you're eating vegan and vegetarian, your carbs are super important. You want to pick carbs with a high protein and fiber ratio to those starches, right? And so what I mean by that is those are going to be your quinoas, lentils, chickpeas, black beans, those kinds of things. Those are awesome, awesome carbs. They're going to be packed with some protein and some fiber to keep your system moving and feeling good. On top of that, there's going to be stuff like tofu. Now, I don't like tofu. It doesn't work for me. It's just something that I don't enjoy. But if you're on a vegan and vegetarian diet, you might want to find a way to where tofu works for you. Also, almonds, pistachios, nuts, assorted nut mixes, those are going to be good for you. Now, the big thing that you're going to have to watch out for when you're eating vegan and vegetarian is a lot of the protein that you're going to be drawn to is also high in fat. And so you're going to have to like play this dance where you're bouncing back and forth between making sure you have enough protein, but also making sure that you're not eating too much fat and those dairy products if you're vegetarian, or if you're vegan, if you're eating too many nut-based proteins, right? So there are a lot of like nut-based proteins that are going to be beneficial to you. So when we're looking at like almond butters, peanut butters, by the way, I am going to post my meal prep video. I just need to redo it. I kind of messed up on a couple things, but little like foreshadowing for that video, there's this stuff called nuts and more or whatever. But anyway, it's like, yeah, it's super, super good. It does have some sugar in it, but as long as you're measuring it out, tracking what you're putting into your food, like then you know how many calories you're getting from the sugar. But it's high in protein and it does have some fat in it, but that's another great option, right? So the cool thing is that we do have resources available that are much better than I am at knowing what to recommend. So when you're looking, make sure if you are on the challenge, you do reach out to your coach if you are on a vegan or vegetarian diet and ask them for guidance. Yes. Because we do have the resources. So if we send you those resources and you have those resources and you look at it and you're like, what? Don't worry, just come in, ask the question, have a 5-minute conversation, ask for a phone call, whatever it is, so we can help walk you guys through the program or the plan or the meal builder guide or whatever it is. That way we can help explain it to you like why this is important or why this is important. In addition, like especially if you're eating vegan and vegetarian, you want to make sure that you are tracking your calories. That's something I'm going to be kind of hard pressed on because it's going to be really hard to look at a journal of food for like a vegan or a vegetarian and say like, okay, that's too much fat, that's too much protein, or too little protein, too many carbs. You're gonna just have to track it, and that's because when you look in your Fitbit app and your MyFitnessPal, no matter whether or not you have the app, you're paying for premium, everybody has it, it's a wheel. And that wheel is gonna show you carbs, fats, and proteins. And so when you're tracking your food accurately as a vegan or vegetarian, you're really gonna be able to see how much protein that you have in your diet. If it is around 20%, okay, great place to start. If we're at 15, okay, great place to start. Wherever we're at is an okay place to be, but it's an opportunity for improvement, right? Like the theme of the week is to reassess. And so this is a great opportunity if you've really been struggling with your nutrition to kind of reassess and reach out to your coach. I'm sure your coach has reached out to you and been like, hey, here's some resources. If they haven't, they might not know. So let them know, reach out to them so that they can help you to the best of their ability. And of course, if they don't have the answer to the question, they're gonna go and find it. But we have a lot of resources at our disposal to help you guys kind of with your options as far as vegan and vegetarian go. But really the foundation is gonna be tracking that nutrition. So your coach has a starting point and then we can make an end point. And we kind of know how to navigate there and kind of make a step ladder approach for you guys on like, this is how we're gonna get in more protein while keeping our fats low and keeping our carbs right where they should be, right? So that's kind of like my 2 cents about vegan and vegetarian.
Only 2 cents.
That's
Yes.
perfect.
The 23 cents is coming later.
Very well said.
Well, that was good. Don't get Sean started on sugar.
Yeah, no, we won't get into it. That's a different coffee with the
First and
coaches.
foremost, just with sugar, it is a carb.
Yes, it is.
All you need to really worry about.
Oh, something I do want to touch on. So I've been asked the question, which I've been, surprised because this is my second challenge. On my first challenge, I was not asked this question, but on the second challenge, I was, which is this one that we're in right now, and it's, can I have pasta? Yes, you can. By all means, you're allowed on our challenges or even in our studio to eat whatever it is that you want to eat. I'm never going to force you to eat something that you don't want to. I'm never going to be like, you know, you have to eat like this to get results. What I might do is say like, hey, you know, this is a great substitution for that if you're interested. Or this is why, you know, black bean noodles are better than just regular spaghetti noodles, right? This is the value from that, right? This is the value of change. And honestly, I enjoy black bean noodles, lentils, chickpeas, all of those things.
Never had them.
Oh, they're good.
Sean, you should have cooked for me.
Also, quick side note, never ever cook like bean-based noodles in an Instant Pot or rice cooker. It backfires. It's backfired on me. It does not work. Just cook it in like a normal stove pot. But yes, you can eat pasta. My recommendation whenever my challenger asks me that is everything in moderation. You know your moderation from the Meal Builder Guide, right? You know which page to reference on the Meal Builder Guide according to your nutritional goal. So if you have a 2,400 calorie nutritional goal and you want to eat 600 calorie meals, then you go to the 600 calorie meals on the Meal Builder Guide, you go down, you see pasta, cool, that's how much pasta I have. That's okay, enjoy your pasta, right? Everything in moderation is good. Even good things like excessively is not good. So it's about having a balanced nutrition, a balanced lifestyle, something sustainable and maintainable that works for you.
That's exactly the point of all of this, by the way, is sustainability. That's why it's like if you want to eat, if lentil or what is it, black beans?
Black beans, lentils, chickpeas.
Yes. If those don't like work for you or you don't like them, like at the end of the day, like eat what makes you happy.
Yes.
Like we're not asking you to give anything up. You shouldn't have to give anything up. Like I love Oreos. I love my Lakers. They see me eat candy relatively frequently.
Yeah.
That's putting it nicely. But like, it's because I enjoy those things. Like when I have a small thing of like gummy worms or stuff like that, like I put them in my pre-workout or like gummy bears. I put it in my pre-workout, drink it, and then I eat that. Like it's something that I enjoy, but it's also like it's like 3 or 4, not a whole pack of them. Like, like there's a significant difference. Except for Saturdays when I'm in here working on the progress reports, like I down it back. But
so quick pause. So
yes.
like what you referenced earlier that you pulled from another nutritionist or dietitian, where you said like for 5 days you eat clean, and then 2 days on the weekend you completely fall off. I think that's like a perfect example of Coach Valencia adding in that moderation into his diet and finding a sustainable way for him to like enjoy what he's eating, but also stay within his like nutritional limits where it's like, I do want to eat consistently healthy, but how can I, you know, hit my sweet tooth craving? So I know that a couple challengers for me have said like, oh, I'm falling off on the weekends. And my advice to them was, ahead of time, schedule it out. If you're gonna have Sunday brunch, awesome. Enjoy it, it's so fun. Bottomless mimosas, going on, eating those eggs, eating that bacon, got those pancakes, waffles, whatever it is, enjoy it. That sounds like an awesome, awesome time. But know that in the morning, you're having that healthy meal. At night, before you go to bed, you're having that healthy meal, right? And then on Monday, let's say like, I want a cookie, awesome. You can have that cookie guilt-free, right? Because you're in moderation, you're planning stuff out, you're staying on your nutritional goal, your nutritional plan. And that's just a perfect like example of like application of that.
Like when I go pump gas, I'll get like a Snickers bar because I don't pump gas every day. I do it like, you know, once every like week and a half, like 2 weeks. I'm like, cool, like I pump gas. I don't want to be there already because gas is the price that it is. And then I'm like, you know what's gonna make me happy? Like a little chocolate bar. Nice. But then it's like I come here and it's like, oh, I'm eating my whole foods, I'm eating my chicken and rice. That's all I stick to because I'm not as great as Sean with all this. But it's like balancing that out. And you shouldn't feel guilty about it. Like I'm not sitting there like eating a snack and being like, I'm terrible. Like I'm eating a snack and I'm like, this is great. Like that's good. And I'm sure we all have like our comfort food that we like, except for you because you're like doing the thing. But like
I can tell you what it is though.
But yeah, we all have our comfort food. Like I love like late at night just sitting down at my table, like watching like videos on YouTube or stuff like that, just decompressing, letting my mind relax, like watching mindless TV for like, you know, a little bit of time. And just like going ham on like 3 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And it's like, but it's not like all like, you know, serving size of peanut. It's like I slap it on. But it's like nothing makes me feel better than just like when I decompress and I eat the 3 of them. I'm like, okay. And like, is it technically like if I'm trying to get as shredded as possible, like is it optimal? Absolutely. But like, do I just feel like happy at the end of the day? Yeah. I love food. Like that's why. If you guys want to bring any food in here, I would eat it. Give it to me. I love it. Like,
The real reason we did this, coffee with the coaches.
It's all about like learning how to just literally, it's like a budget, and you figure out how to spend it, and you realize when it's worth it and when it's really not.
Right.
The other day I came home and I was super angry because there was just this pizza on the counter, and I had to go and eat my meal prep, and I was like, I really want to have a slice of that pizza, but one slice of that pizza is my entire meal prep.
Right.
So either I can have one slice of it, still feel really hungry, and like suffer the rest of the night and feel like I can't eat anything more, or I can have like a way bigger serving of my meal prep with shrimp, with steak, with rice, with all my stuff, and it could be the same amount of calories. And I went with the meal prep, and it was obviously way better, and I felt better after making that choice at the end of the day. And then on top of that, I added free veggies, and I've been having like, I know I've seen Coach Gus having cucumber with like lime and tahini, and like I had some hot sauce, and it's like nothing. It's like 15 calories for that. So, and I don't even have to log it because it's cucumber and it's a free veggie. And it's just about like making yourself feel full at the end of the day. That's the biggest thing for me. And I knew like if I had one slice of pizza, I knew I could easily eat like 4 of those. But then think about that, 400 calories, and I have 4 slices of that. I mean, that's gonna put me way over, and then I'm gonna feel way worse. So
Right.
it's just about like learning when is a good time, like on the weekends. If you're like, you know what, I'm gonna treat myself. I've been good all week, or I'm just gonna treat myself for lunch and be good the rest of the day, or I'm just gonna have something after like a really healthy dinner. Then that's gonna, if that's gonna make you feel more sustainable, that's what you should do, because a lot of people are like, ugh, I'm so ready for this 6 weeks to be over. I can't wait. And I was talking to one of my clients and telling her, I don't want you to feel like that. I want you to feel like you're gonna continue on after this, and that it's not draining you, and that you don't feel low energy, and that you don't look forward to eating. Because if we don't look forward to eating our food, like that's just gonna be miserable. And you should be enjoying your food and eating what you like and figuring out, you know, what's best gonna sustain you.
unless it's like 10-day-old meal prep, like probably,
Yeah.
probably get rid of that.
No, I made that mistake. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But to kind of go off of what Coach Ariana said about the pizza, let's say that you were like, no, I'm not gonna eat my meal prep. I don't have that slice of pizza. Awesome. Enjoy it. What a great opportunity for you to have something that you're normally not eating, right?
Yeah.
But also with that, so let's say like that's gonna hit your nutritional limit, right? And she talked about the cucumbers, plate of spinach, tomatoes, onions, cucumbers,
Oh, yeah.
bell peppers, like tons of free vegetables. There's so many free vegetables. Just layer it on there and rip through that pizza, rip through that salad. And if you're still hungry after, call me and I'll find a different solution for you. Because I really honestly feel like eating a full big salad right there, not a lot of people can eat that whole salad and feel hungry after.
Yeah.
Except for Coach Valencia, that he loves food. So
I
give
haven't
that a
made
go.
it clear.
So kind of just like that, like if you are having like that you know, that eat less option, then, you know, fill up the rest of that dinner portion with a eat more option, right? Which would be the spinach, the greens, the lettuce, right? So I just kind of want to like give a different option with that, to where it's like, let's say you don't eat the meal prep. This is probably how to take a hold of that situation.
And it's also like the same thing. Like I can assume that when the pizza was there, you didn't know that we were gonna get pizza.
No.
Yeah. So you get home. It's like if it's a surprise, like there's not much you can do beforehand to prepare for that. But if it's like you're gonna call at noon, it's like, oh, like we're gonna have pizza later in the day. You can like make an adjustment, make a quick adjustment. Be like, oh, like we'll just do this, or it's like I'll have this meal during the day, and like instead of my snack being, you know, whatever it is, like a high calorie snack, I'm just gonna have like a veggie tray or something like that, like something that's gonna hold you over, and you're like that way I have like an extra couple hundred calories to play around with when I go to dinner, so I can enjoy myself at that dinner. Like everything is like to an extent, like some of the things are gonna be on the fly, but it's like if your friends invite you to do something, your family invites you, it's like, oh, like we're gonna, you know, it's so and so's birthday. And like they invite you over that day, don't be like, oh, I can't eat cake, and like I can't have any of the food you guys have because I have meal prep at home. Like it's not that deep. Enjoy yourself, have fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
On the flip side though, if you are like holding yourself to a very high standard of self-accountability with sugar or with your nutrition on this challenge, then on that flip side, I encourage you to stay strong, stay to what you committed yourself to. If you slip up, that's an opportunity to reassess and improve. But as you, like, there's different ways to come at everything. So if you're coming at it from that approach to where it's like, I'm just trying to eat healthy, enjoy that opportunity. If you're on that challenge mode and people just don't get it, you're not alone. I get it, I'm with you. So it's kind of like a couple different things going on. I want to make sure that this is relatable to everybody because I know there are challengers who are like, this is what I'm doing no matter what. That is awesome. Just stick to it, stay strong. If they don't understand, they eventually will. Just refer them to us and we'll take care of that.
That's a good ending.
I think so.
Want to take it away, Sean?
Alright, no, I'm just kidding. Alrighty, Fit Fam. Have a wonderful day. It's our Warrior Wednesday. I know we have quite the Metcon workout, so if you didn't get in this morning or to that mid-morning, make sure to get into the afternoon. I think Coach Wentz is coaching Coach Cat
Me too.
and Coach Ariana. So make sure to get in. They'll bring that fire to put you guys to work. It's our Warrior Wednesday. Let's keep our mindset sharp. Alright, Fit Fam. Our hands up and we do family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family!
Later.
Woohoo!
Oh, I
Let's
can't.
go eat now.